unfit to lead. He is too arrogant. He does not entertain views different from his. The central theme of our attack should be Keith Rowley, by his acknowledged arrogant, dictatorial attitudes and harsh behavior, is temperamental and unsuited for the role of the Prime Minister. Keith Rowley in the PNM internal elections has articulated no policies on health, escalating crime, income inequality, and rising poverty and youth alienation. Keith Rowley has shown himself unable to be a team player, and in a party historically characterized by strict internal discipline, he led a mutiny. He has shown himself unable to weather sustained attacks. He becomes angry and in effect a raging bull.
Camille Robinson-Regis calls for party unity and stop bashing of former Prime Minister Keith Christopher Rowley, carried in a Guardian newspaper article which note, PNM election chaos sparks concern from leaders, written by Ria Tate on June 21, June 2025. The article states, as the People's National Movement heads to the polls tomorrow for its internal election, Vice Chairman and Chairman of the Women's League Camille Robinson-Regis has expressed sadness over what she sees as the barbs and the sniping directed at former PNM leader and Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley during this internal election campaign. In a Facebook post, Robinson-Regis, who is not seeking re-election, said, I'm deeply saddened by the fact that this internal election has turned into the bashing of people who genuinely care for and have worked diligently for our beloved party and country. The article went on to state, there has been unease among some elements of the party over the election discourse, with some party members expressing their consternation over what they view as negative statements targeting Rowley and at times also Stuart Young, including comments that, but for the early calling of the election, the PNM would have been entering its third term in office. Such remarks have come from some members of the One PNM Bring Back the Love platform, the slate led by opposition leader Penelope Beckles, who is unopposed for the position of political leader, and which includes General Secretary Foster Cummings, seeking re-election, candidate for the chairmanship Marvin Gonzalez, and candidate for the vice chairmanship Dr. Amory Brown. Although there have been several comments on Facebook from the rank and file expressing their concerns and dismay about the course of the campaign, Robinson-Regis joined this chorus on her Facebook page. Robinson-Regis said, It is deeply disheartening to witness Dr. Rowley, someone who has consistently demonstrated his commitment to the best interests of our party and our country, facing criticism from within our own ranks. Even more troubling is that some of this criticism comes from individuals whose political journeys he helped revive and whom he placed in positions of trust and responsibility. At a time when our political opponents are also actively seeking to discredit him, it is unfortunate that such internal divisions are emerging. This moment calls for unity and reflection, not unnecessary discord, suggesting that some of the criticisms apply to the actions of members of a current slate, Robinson-Regis stated. Unbelievably, though, is that some members of the leadership who are being accused of failing us are the same members who now form an integral part of some slates. Isn't that contradictory? Also, who are the so-called opponents? Is it Dr. Rowley, Stuart Young, Rohan Sananan, and I? We are the ones now ostensibly being attacked for the outcome of the general election as we formed the leadership, but several persons who are now requesting your vote to lead the party again were also part of that leadership and integral to the general election campaign. So how are they not being vilified but we are? Asking how come some people were not being similarly held to account, Robinson-Regis said, The election result didn't turn out how we expected. So how does that make us the enemy and the persons who are now fighting the internal election and who were also involved in the general election are not being attacked and are not the enemy? Some even lost their seats, but are presenting themselves to lead the party again. I am not against that, but let's be fair. Harking back to an earlier internal contest, Robinson-Regis said, I recall when Dr. Rowley challenged Mr. Manning in 1996 for the position of political leader, I supported Mr. Manning and was a frontline speaker, and not one day did I see the need to speak ill of Dr. Rowley or members who chose to support him. There was no need, as it was a contest amongst family, And in that case, we didn't need to bring down one for the other to win. We needed to highlight why it was felt that one candidate had the better ability to lead at that time. I was not even a candidate, but I spoke several times in support of Mr. Manning on his platform, never in any way denigrating Dr. Rowley, who had a legitimate right to challenge. In fact, during the campaign, I went to Dr. Rowley's home and gave him and my schoolmate Sharon, Rowley, a Rottweiler puppy. We never became unkind to each other, or spoke ill of each other, or spoke ill about members who supported him. Saying there was no need to unfairly damage your opponents in order to win, Robinson-Regis said. At the end of the day, we need all hands on deck. All are we as one family. We must be free to make our choices without concern about vilification or adverse consequences. She said the only consequence at the end of this internal election must be that the best person for each position must emerge winner, and everyone, with boundless faith in our destiny, take our party forward. Robinson-Regis stressed that after the election, we will need to work together to fortify our party, and that becomes difficult if some seem hell-bent on hurting others, she said. The PNM and its leaders and members must remain committed to standing firm in principle and truth, representing the people with clarity, conviction, and dignity, even amidst the noise and challenges. I hold fast to the belief that truth, discipline, and integrity will always prevail. The level of bold-faced lies by Robinson-Regis is conspicuous to the core. Robinson-Regis believed that the population and the PNM party membership will forget her scathing vilification of Rowley. She has put both feet in her mouth. What a sorry state of hypocrisy. Remember, she said, I recall when Dr. Rowley challenged Mr. Manning in 1996 for the position of political leader. I supported Mr. Manning and was a frontline speaker, and not one day did I see the need to speak ill of Dr. Rowley or members who chose to support him. A blatant and unadulterated lie. The PNM clearly has lost its way with consistent leadership betrayals, which the rank and file has noted as the party sinks deeper and deeper into political oblivion. The prediction is that very few will come out to vote in this 24th June 2025 PNM internal election. This is what she had to say then.
Rowley is unfit to lead. He is too arrogant. He does not entertain views different from his. The central theme of our attack should be Keith Rowley, by his acknowledged arrogant, dictatorial attitudes and harsh behavior, is temperamental and unsuited for the role of the Prime Minister. Keith Rowley in the PNM internal elections has articulated no policies on health, escalating crime, income inequality, and rising poverty and youth alienation. Keith Rowley has shown himself